best moment, but typically it's fine.
Yes, yeah.
Sunday, a little bit dimmer than the other times.
Yeah, well, eventually, because nobody tells you, you don't know what's going on, so.
That's here Tuesday, but it's kind of hard to. When I'm doing all these committee meetings,
Yeah.
it's tough to get out and about.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
No problem.
How are you doing today, Bill?
Good.
Good. Yes, the same. We are good to go.
Are we all ready to go? All right, well, it's 4:01.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started with the Parks Commission meeting for September 16th, 2021. We'll go ahead and call to order roll call. Bill?
Bill Davis.
Ariane Lyons?
Greg Hamblett.
Kelly Burnett with the City of Coos Bay.
And online, we have
Coco Sutton,
Sam Crowley.
Patty Scott.
Thank you. Item number 2 is approval of the April 15th and July 15th meeting minutes. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Bill. Second?
Sam will second.
Second, Patty.
I think Sam beat you there. Sam for second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, we're going to go in a slightly different order here because I know Carolyn needs to get to something. But Carolyn, if you would like to provide us the update for the Mingus Park improvement status.
Certainly, I'd be happy to do that. As the Commission knows, one of Council's goals for this fiscal year included securing funding for Mingus Park to dredge the Mingus Pond and install fishing piers and other work. I've been speaking with ZCS, the consultant that we were in touch with prior to the pandemic and the time when things had been kind of gone into hibernation a bit. And I've gotten quite a bit of information from them. I've also been engaged with Heather Laird, our city grant writer, who does fantastic work. So I will be talking to ODF and W yet this week about a funding source for this. I know that in May of 2020, it looked like everything was pretty nailed down, but we just I need to go back and revisit some of this now that I'm going to be taking on this project somewhat. So I just wanted to give you a report, and I wanted to let you know that as things move along each month, I'll be having a progress report to you on that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that. So moving on to the next topic, we have Cricket for an update on the Marshfield Pioneer Cemetery.
So we're not on the agenda because all this has come up sort of suddenly, but, you know, still working on things, and we have many new commissioners, and we wanted to make sure you had an update of what's going on there. We're finishing up our 3-year-old projects. So we have several projects initiated with the city and independently. One of those that we're excited to get working on is installing a bench. The city was given 3 plots that were not going to be used by the Koch family, and the only request was that the family wanted to install a bench to recognize the Koch and the Anderson families, and they paid for the bench, so you can't beat that. So the bench is now in Myrtle Point, and we'll pick it up Monday, and Mrs. Virginia Hasler, who maybe some of you might know, she was on the board at the Marshfield Sun, kind of watching that because the Luces are also her family members. So she'll be in town with her daughters on the 28th and 29th, and hopefully we can save the benches in place. So 3 years, we're going good on that one. So tomorrow, the Coast Guard Aids to Navigation Station is showing up to help with phase one of putting small memorials in to recognize the two people that we know that are in the cemetery that were in the life-saving service. The Life-Saving Heritage Association and other Coast Guard affiliated groups are trying to recognize those people that have things. Lou Liberty has already recognized his ancestor who served with the 19 years at the Arago Lighthouse as assistant lighthouse keeper. Now we're going to recognize two men. One was actually a head surfman at the unit here, and when the wreck of the Tsarina took place, he stayed on to kind of keep the lights on. His nephew by marriage, kind of, always wanted to be in the Coast Guard. He finally got, or the life-saving service was finally accepted to be in the life-saving service, and their old motto was, you have to go out, you don't have to come back. So he had been in the Coast Guard, assigned at Tillamook for 6 weeks, went out on a call, and of course, breakers and all that. He did not survive. His body was never found, and a cenotaph was erected in the cemetery. So now both of those will be marked with a little bronze medallion to recognize their service, and Aids to Navigation will put it in, and we're hoping to have, it's outside, and have a small dedication of that in the future. And some of you this is a team effort with the Souls family, and the person who initiated all this originally was my daughter, Becky Souls, and she keeps working on it. So she's got a good chunk of the history of the cemetery written, with the idea that the management plan does need to be updated. So as time permits, she's working on that, and she's now in Kentucky, but good to be able to work remotely. But in her downtime, she has managed to get new signage for the cemetery, and it was primarily paid for with a grant from Travel Oregon, encouraging people to come by and see the cemetery and why it's a good spot. Yesterday we had someone from Grants Pass. We had the next day was someone from Portland. We have got lots of visitors. Those maritime brochures are the last of 250 that we had printed a year ago. So we have more being printed. So we'd like you to go by and see the new signage, and we'll even give you the code if you need it to go into the cemetery. They're incredible infographics. She's done a presentation for, which you can access online. She's done a presentation for both the Coos History Museum, and then she was invited to do one for the State Historic Cemetery Commission. And the commissioner, who knows her fairly well, said, I thought it was going to be boring. And she said, oh my gosh, all the cemeteries should have signage like that. But it's in the modern style of infographics. It's very colorful. Everything is a lot of data mining that she spent to kind of draw everything out of the cemetery. And we'll have more updates on another project she's also working on that we'll actually get on the agenda then with Kelly. But the other thing is, for any of the new commissioners or anyone else that would like to tour, please get a hold of us. It's easy to find the CB Cemetery. We are going to lose our webpage because Google's updating it, so we're sort of messing with that, but it's easy to find phone number and address. We have a Google phone number, and anyone is welcome to call that, and that's 541-435-1177. So we encourage you to get the code. The only reason it's currently still locked is to avoid spontaneous vandalism. But otherwise, we have had lots and lots of visitors. So we're happy that we're making progress. Does anyone have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, please come visit.
Thank you, Cricket, and thank you to you and your daughter for continued dedication to the cemetery. All right, so moving on to citizen input, public comment.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we'll get over there.
Hello, I'm Angie.
Hey, Angie.
We're here to talk about the skate park reopening for everybody, right? Since it was closed to scooters and bikes for the past almost 2 years now, which has been really difficult. If you own a skate shop that sells scooters, it's kind of a bummer for me. But other than monetarily, you know, my son scooters and he's competitive. This summer he won a second place and a third place, and so we traveled to do that. There has been, you know, I travel a lot and I see those signs that exclude scooters and stuff, and it was the same here up until those, you know, a couple years ago. No one paid attention to the sign, and it's like that in every community I go to. So I get that the sign's outdated and it needs to be updated, and that's maybe what we're doing here. But as far as I remember from the last council meeting, somebody donated the money, which was amazing, to get it up and running again, which was awesome to see that work. And Tristan put in a lot of time, and that's honorable and amazing. But he's still hanging out there, kicking people out, calling the cops on these kids. And as far as I remember, we settled it at, okay, let's get it repaired, and then we'll open it back up to everybody, and then we'll talk about next thing, which is fundraising to get a better skate park, you know, and build it up, because it really is an essential part of this community. And every community has a skate park, and they all invest money into it. And as a skate shop owner, I would love to do fundraising and help bring our park up to current standards, right? So it'd be open, you know, so it's like I've gone to scooter competitions and skate with my son all over Oregon, and it's incredible, and we're falling behind. And as our city's getting bigger and bigger, over the past couple years, it's incredible. I love to see everybody moving here, but I've noticed that, but that's actually a good selling point to the city. And we've had, you know, we've gone to meet pros at other skate parks in other towns. Like they go to Roseburg, they've come as far as Reedsport. We went to a competition in Reedsport. So we're missing that equity in our town, because it does bring hundreds and hundreds of people around our community to go to these skate parks. It's just not a stupid place that kids hang out. It's more than that, I feel. It's also causing my kid to, you know, during COVID, there's nothing for him to do, and he's going, you know, he'll get into trouble, and that's what skate parks were for, you know, and now he'll go and try and do it on somebody's private business property or whatever, you know, which is the whole reason we built skate parks in the 80s, was because that was happening to skateboarders. So I'm just a little frustrated that we haven't concluded this, and it hasn't been reopened. You know, as soon as it reopened, we were all excited. We had a bunch of scooter guys go down there, you know, my son's friends and stuff. I took them down there, and Tristan just was there, you know, waiting at the gate like he knew we were coming, and threatened to call the cops. And it's just getting old, and I appreciate what you guys have done and what you're trying to accomplish, and I don't know how we can accelerate it necessarily, but I know that when I left the last meeting that we had, which was, a year ago now? Year and a half? Anyway, April. Okay, April. Then it wasn't that long. But that was what I heard and took away from the meeting, was that after it was fixed so it would be safe, right, then it would be reopened to everyone. So I got a lot of disappointed kids at my shop and, of course, in my house. I've been doing this is me just whining. I now, you know, I have to take them to Reedsport every weekend, or I'm going to Roseburg tomorrow, which means I have to take time off work. I had to take time off for work here, which is why not a lot of people are coming, I think, is because we can't afford it, you know. I almost shut my small business down for these 2 hours so that I could come here, which isn't really my best, and, you know, it's not what I wanted to do, but it's very important for me to make sure that this is reopened, and that I appreciate what Tristan's done, but at this point, I feel like he's taken over the skate park for his own little world, and I'm not okay with that. It's the city's park. It's your guys' park. We've all come together for these things. It's part of the community, and I feel like I'm ready to resolve this. It's looking nice. The skate park's looking nice, and I'm ready to jump in and build it up more, but I'm not going to do that until it's open for everybody. So, which I think is where we were supposed to get today, hopefully. So I'm crossing my fingers that we can, you know, come to a conclusion today, and I can go home and tell my son some good news, that he gets to go play at his home skate park again, because he feels bad not having a local he can hang out at. That's about it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the time.
Yeah. Thank you for coming down and speaking. We appreciate that. It is my understanding that part of the delay in the reopening for everything is we're waiting to hear back from the insurance company for the city. And so our hands are a little bit tied until we get the confirmation from them that it is okay to open it to multiple uses. And so I'm not sure of the exact status on that, but I believe
What was
that,
the insurance status before 2 years? Because they were okay up until a year ago. You know what I mean? So what insurance, that's what
yeah,
I'm.
it's,
I get it.
just from my experience with something else, not specifically
Yeah.
this topic, is they're fine until they've become aware of the issue. And then
Right.
since they become aware of the issue,
Right.
then the insurance company is like, well, this is actually what we insured you for, not this. So,
Right, right.
so now that they've become
Okay.
aware of it,
Those
that's,
get sticky. Ugh,
we-
insurance companies, I feel
Yeah.
that. Yeah, okay.
yeah. And so I think there's a component piece there that we, as a city, because we can't afford to get sued and then it affects everybody.
Right, yeah.
So that's my understanding is we're still waiting on that piece to come back.
Okay.
Before we can make a final resolution and get everything
Okay,
wrapped up.
so we're waiting. Okay,
No.
cool.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah, yeah. So I think, and we appreciate you coming and talking to us because, like, as you know, there's like a bajillion things going on. So by being present and bringing this continuous to us, that's, we're here because we're part of the community and you're a part of the community. So we appreciate you coming.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Mhm.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Libby,
Hi, Libby.
co-owner of Time Bomb with Angie. Yeah, we started fundraising for the park before this started, and we kind of stalled now because we, along with Bahama Boards, they already had started the 501c and everything to start fundraising to expand the park, but they also want it to be for everybody. And I think that's the goal, even ultimately, that Tristan mentioned. But like you said, if it's stuck on an insurance matter, then your hands are tied. We do ask, I guess I asked if you have any idea of when that'll be.
So that's not my specific role in contacting the insurance company because I don't work for the city. So I would have to deflect that onto somebody else.
Okay, so what can we do next as citizens?
Jim, do you want to?
So we, hopefully within the month, we'll have some feedback from our insurance company. And if we get a positive response from them, maybe it could be if the Parks Commission desires, we could have it as an agenda item. And maybe one way or the other, we have it as an agenda item next month to talk about it. And then the commission can give its recommendation to the council for their consideration.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, the wheels of change move quite slowly. And while April did feel like a year and a half ago. Do we have any additional citizen or public comment? No? Okay. Do we have staff
This is
online?
Coco Sutton, and I had a question when we were back talking about this in April, and the insurance company was brought up. I believe that there was also some talk about wording on a sign, and I didn't see if that got resolved, or is that still pending with the insurance company feedback?
I believe that's part of the conversation with the insurance company is the language that needs to be utilized on the sign so that it protects the city and describes the usership of the park.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, thank you, Coco. So do we have any additional staff comments?
No, not particularly. I just want to let you know that the basketball hoop has been opened back up. There is evidently a little bit of surface area around it that needs to be finished. In regards to the skate park usership, yes, we should have that answer hopefully within the next month, and I'd be happy to make sure we talk about it at the next meeting. And that's about it right now. Mingus Park, we did order 2 new fountains for the park. They should be here in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. Get those installed, start getting that water movement back in the park, in the pond, so.
And were the nutria ever caught?
You know, I'm not sure I can follow up. I know we did catch some. Now,
Okay.
how many, I don't know.
Okay. I saw 3, so
Did you?
there was at least 3 in there.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Bill? Patty? Nope. Coco?
Nope.
No.
Bev? Sam, any comments?
Nothing really from me. Something I'd like to bring up in the next meeting as we continue to work with the insurance company and discuss the skate park. I know the possibility of expanding into that tennis court has been brought up, and I would love to kind of revisit that and see how much of a possibility that would be, because I drive by Mingus Park every day, ride my bike by it every day, and I do not see that tennis court utilized super often. And it'd be interesting to bring up the possibility of using that space to expand if that's something we're able to do. That's kind of all I got.
Yeah, I do think, and we can discuss this at the next meeting, but I do think that, forming a subcommittee of the parks, a task force, if you will, that can look at the skate park, the rider usership, the expansion, and collaborating with other people within the community so that we can kind of have a cohesive approach to next steps. So I think looking at that at our next meeting when we have that discussion and information from the insurance company and looking how we can move forward cohesively, I think is going to be important.
Certainly. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Other than that, I just would like to reiterate, when we have so many people coming into our community from out of town, they think our parks are amazing, and we have a really amazing resource here. So many people come from other states and other communities where they charge to use the parks, and I think it's really cool that we do not, and we get a lot of comments from other people that think we have a really amazing resource here. So I think we should applaud ourselves for that, and the city for taking care of what they can. So. Other than that, any other items? No?
Yes, this is Coco Sutton. And I was just curious, was there any talk about when the work for the new park master plan would start? Because I thought that the subject that Sam brought up was going to be looked at with the scope of that software that they talked about, that we would be using.
I believe the discussion was that late fall is when we were going to start looking at the master plan update.
Okay, thank you.
Now we're in early fall, so soon. Does that answer your question, Coco?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I keep staring at the green circle that's looking at you like you're there, but yeah, I think that is one of our next steps, is revisiting the entire master plan and starting that process, albeit slightly daunting, but it'll be important and incorporate the skate park piece component to it as well.
And this is Kelly Burnett. I know Carolyn mentioned having it on the agenda for October.
Okay, perfect. So for October, which will be great to start that process. Without any additional comments, I thank everybody for coming in today. I appreciate community comment. That's what keeps us going, and everybody for coming in and giving us updates. We appreciate that. So I will adjourn the meeting, and thank you everyone for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.